back to Leicester Fan TV. This is the Fox's Focus show. We'll be discussing the Brentford game, but before that, we'll discuss the Arsenal game. I've got Simon with me. Hello, Simon.
Evening, Jono. How are you, mate?
Not bad, not bad. So we'll start with the before the game. There was this protest that was going to happen. Now I didn't watch the game, and I've not seen anything about the protest. So I'll let Simon. So I did see a vehicle driving around with a advertisement on saying "Looking Out," and I did see a few banners in the stadium. But you were there, so what was the atmosphere like at the stadium for the protest?
Yeah, I did. In all honesty, I did pop up to the local area and have a look on the way to the ground, just to see what was going on. There was like you say, an advertising van there with various different anti-Rucking slogans, if I'm being honest, adorned on it. There were a few people milling around. Bit before 12, there was a bit of a procession down to the stadium, but I didn't feel maybe it necessarily had the impact that the people that organised it were hoping for. There wasn't masses there, maybe 100, 150 people that actually actively made that walk down to the ground. On the 14-minute as well, it was advertised that there would be some kind of protest in the ground. That didn't really come to anything. I mean, the game was ongoing, so I guess a lot of the fans were focusing on that. But there were a few, you could hear a few bits around the ground, but it certainly wasn't loud, or by any means the majority of the fans. It was a small portion of the fans. So I think, whatever you do or don't think about the way the club's run. Obviously, there was an attempt made by some fans to make their feelings heard. Probably, a bit disappointed with the outcome of that. I would imagine those fans that organised it didn't really have the impact that they were hoping for. I wouldn't think.
No, and I didn't see videos of people walking down singing songs and anything like that. It just seems like it's just a half-assed protest, and I don't think that's because it was badly organised. I just think people just have lost passion with the club. I kind of feel it's like, can we be bothered? Will it change anything?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. There is quite a lot of apathy, I suppose, and acceptance maybe, Jono, amongst our fan base now of the way this season is unfolding, and that I guess leads to a little bit of a lack of enthusiasm all round. I mean, as we know, tickets have been going on general sale for games of late, and last I looked, there were still tickets available to buy for the game tomorrow night. So, there's clearly, a little bit of a lack of enthusiasm around the club at the minute from the fan base.
There's a lack of enthusiasm, and as you off the screen, you said that the Arsenal game, a lot of fans walked out after the second goal. Usually fans stay, but when you can see the second goal to Arsenal, it's not like you can't really get back into the game, and it's frustrating. Now, I didn't watch the game. I was away. I couldn't watch it. So talk to me about how the game went, and so what were the highlights?
Okay, let's pick the positives out first from where I see it. Firstly, especially in that kind of 30-minute period of the second half, the first 30 minutes, that was some of the most positive football I've seen us play for a while. It was coherent. It was forward thinking. We were getting into the final third of Arsenal's half. It felt, I can remember sitting there during the second half, and it felt like we were building up a bit of momentum, and you almost kind of in the back of your mind, even though you're playing Arsenal, you started to think, actually, we can win this. It actually felt like that for a bit. But the chances came and went. We didn't take them. There weren't easy chances. There were no easy chances. There was one with Cordova Reed where he was right in front of goal and the ball flashed across the box, and the defender just got in front of him and stopped him from tapping it in, which was about the closest we came to scoring. But then, of course, we put a couple of subs on. We made a couple of mistakes, lost the ball and what have you, and then it was bang bang, and the game was over in short succession with 2 quick goals from Arsenal, which was a bit of pill to swallow, if I'm honest, having kind of watched the first half, an hour of the first half, second half, and kind of feeling like we were really in it, and probably not expecting that maybe against Arsenal before the game started. The second piece of it for me that was positive was Kubiali, who came on for an injured James Justin at half time. And I have to tell you, John, I thought he was outstanding in that second half. He made numerous tackles when he was one-on-one. He was linking up play going forward. He looked energetic. And for me, personnel-wise, he was the big positive out of that game at the weekend. And it kind of filled me with a little bit of enthusiasm, to see someone come on and give that effort and show that ability and have that belief. Because I think probably subconsciously quite a few of our players are now starting to doubt that maybe in their own minds, even if they don't realise it, because of the run of results. It's very hard to lose that many games, bounce and loss and it not affect you. So I guess for Kubiali, he doesn't have that because he hasn't had that history lately, and he really did play well. And I have to tell you that I really hope that he gets another chance from the start tomorrow night, because I think his second half performance absolutely deserved that. But ultimately, you look at the facts. We've lost the last 5 games at home. We haven't scored a goal. We've conceded 11. It doesn't read well, does it? Let's be honest.
It doesn't read well. I just think I'm bored of hearing we played well for a good amount of time. It's good to begin of the season, saying, oh, we played well, I can see encouragements, which is fair enough. It's beginning of the season, but this is crunch time of the season now. This is what makes or break the season. And saying we played well, we played well against, we should have, played well against Palace. We lost 2-0. You played well against Man City. We lost. The only game we played well in that we've won was against Spurs, and they're crap.
Yeah, they're probably one of the only teams I've seen lately that look worse than we do. If I'm talking honestly, yeah. I mean, there are plenty of teams that have got relegated from the Premier League over the last 10 years that have played attractive football to a philosophy, and it's not got them over the line, and they've lost week after week and ended up going down. I'm not saying it feels like that at Leicester at the minute, but it does a little bit, if I'm honest. Like I say, that second half performance before the 2 goals went in was decent. We matched them, and in spells we had the better of it, but we didn't do anything with it. You make a couple of mistakes, and the game's gone, and it's an all too familiar story this season. And whether you lay that at the coach's door, or you lay that at the players and the quality of the players' door, or the recruitment policy, or whatever, we are at the minute coming up short, and it has to, if we've got any chance of staying in the Premier League, it really has to start changing tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, I want it to change, but I can't see us stringing a 90-minute performance together. Like, if we played that first 30 minutes against Arsenal for the whole game, we might have got a point. They haven't got a striker. Now, what's concerning for me is I've looked back to the last 5 Premier League games. I have a guess how many goals we've scored in 5 Premier League games.
What, Leicester? In the last 5 games? None.
Yeah. 2.
2, sorry.
They
must have been away from home then.
Right, I'm going to calculate this. So 90 minutes in a football match, minimum. So 90 times 5 equals 450 minutes. So 450 minutes of football, we scored 2 goals. That's minimum. Now, beginning of the season, we're one of the only teams that scored in every single game. Now we're scraping to even score goals. I feel like Ruben Nestor's tactics are more positive, yet we're scoring way less goals than when Cooper is in charge. I don't know what the difference is.
We were, I think, with Cooper. I think when you look back on it in hindsight, he was keeping us in games for periods of games. So rather than kind of going out with a kind of philosophy of, right, let's go out to a philosophy and let's play to this, and we'll play our style, and that's what we're going to be, which is pretty much us under Van Nistelrooy now. For me, we're playing a system and a style. I think he kind of went out a little bit more in terms of, right, let's not get too carried away here. Let's keep ourselves in this game. And then for short spells of games, we'd then turn the burners on and go for the opportunity to try and pinch the win. So it's different, and it's different types of thought processes. I mean, there were games, let's be honest, under Cooper where you kind of walked away from it thinking that was just awful, and we just didn't do anything at all. We didn't show anything of any quality, or I can't think of anything going home that's worth remembering from that whatsoever. But there were other games where, like that Bournemouth home win last year, where we got ourselves in front and then kind of put ourselves in, hunkered down and clung on for a 1-0 win, and you got 3 points. And I guess there's an argument when you get in this situation that it doesn't really matter how you play. It doesn't matter whether the fans are entertained or it's pretty. You just need points, and it doesn't matter how they come.
Well, as Simon said, with Cooper we scored in games were closed. With Rue we concede bucket loads and don't score. If you go in front, you can rely on the defence to do their job well. We can't really do that. What other comments are there? Well, yeah, playing well doesn't keep you off, unfortunately. Well, we've said that. It's just you can play well, but you can have individual good performances, but playing well isn't enough anymore. We need to do better than that. I've dropped expectations to score a goal. Others have just alluded to, we don't score any goals anymore. It's just so poor. Our finishing has just gotten worse, and it's awful. And
we look at Saturday, for example. I can't remember an opportunity where Vardy got a chance to have a proper go at goal. We're not creating the striker chances in the first place.
Do you think Bordenotte not being in the team is making this problem? Do you think him not being in there, that creative outlet? And I know El Khanous has been playing really well recently, but I reckon, do you think he created better chances for other people to score?
Well, Bordenotte was scoring himself for starters when he was playing. He wasn't just creating chances; he was also scoring goals himself. He's a real dynamo. He's young and he's learning his trade, but he's passionate. He'll get up and down for you. He'll do the dirty work as well. Whilst I agree with you, El Khanous is absolutely worthy of his place. I'd have both of them in the team, especially at home.
Andy said what we're doing isn't working, so we need to find a way to play El Khanous and Bordenotte together. I agree. Play El Khanous, play Bordenotte out of position. Play him out of position. Drop Reed or drop Ayew. Drop one of them and play both of them, because they'll. We know Bordenotte isn't going to sign for his end of the season. We know it's not going to happen, but he'll want to prove to everyone that he can play in the Premier League, and he'll put his shift in.
Do you know what? I think if he played all season and we stay up, I think there's a sniff that we could have signed him in the summer. But now he's spent a third of the season warming the bench. That you can forget that now. He won't want to stick around because he came to play games. That was the whole point of him coming. I absolutely agree with you. Ayew's never going to get round the fullback with pace and put a cross in. He's not that sort of player, and he comes inside a lot. And what's wrong with Bordenotte doing that? I don't. I get that Van Nistelrooy likes having some experienced players in his team. I get he likes the blend, but you've got to unlock some doors. You've got to create some chances, and you've got to give your striker some opportunities to score a goal. And especially at home, you need your best creative players on the pitch.
Well, Andy's just put, it's poor that we're relying on a 38-year-old. I love Vardy. He's done so much good for this club, but why haven't we got a different striker? Why didn't we, I know but the strikers we've tried to get are rubbish. Edouard, rubbish is that?
Yeah.
Why are we relying on him for?
Van Nistelrooy was asked about Edouard in his press conference before the Brentford game, and he was asked where he was and what was going on with him, and he just said that he's training and available for selection, but at the minute he sees Daka and Vardy as being the two that go into the matchday squad.
We're so good at buying or getting loans of players who are useless. The only decent player we've signed in a long while that's been relevant is Fataru, and he's injured. I think that's the last player I feel who's made a massive impact. That kind of got the crowd together when he, was singing was singing that all the time, and I can't remember a Leicester making a signing like that for ages.
I mean, let me ask you a question, Jono. If Abdul Fataru and have ended up with that cruciate knee ligament injury that's put him out for the whole season. Do you think our season would be different?
Slightly, yes. I think slightly. He brings youth. He brings different. He brings diversity. He was one of the only players who took on defenders. He was the only player that took risks. I can't, Vardy's a poacher. He won't do those sort of running around anymore. I can't. I think so. Not by much, but in those crucial games where we needed that bit of spark, if he was playing against Crystal Palace, we would have won that game. I feel.
I agree with you. I think if he'd been fit, he's young. He plays without fear. He's not scared to take a fullback on and go at it. He was a breath of fresh air for me. That was a blow. When even like you say, if he was only coming off the bench for the last half an hour, it would have got us some points. I'm quite sure of that. We've missed him this season for me.
To be fair, Mads has been that's true. Mads has been an excellent signing for goal, but I'm on about outfield players to make a massive impact. It's just been poor. It's just been really, really poor. And I saw a funny post from Leicester. It's just quite funny. They've installed loads of defibrillators around the stadium, which is amazing. But the person they got to photo with it saying "saving lives" was Danny Ward. I'm thinking, what troll has just put Danny Ward in that photo? I do not know, but that's the biggest troll I've seen all year. So I saw a comment earlier from a Leeds fan saying, "Hi lads, I'm a Leeds fan. Just want to say thanks for keeping our seat warm in the Prem." Now, this is not just for Leeds. This is anyone who comes up next season is going down. That's not Burnley, Sheffield United and Leeds at the top. Sheffield United had the worst Premier League season ever last season. They were horrific and went straight down. Leeds, I can't say. You know what I mean? What we're supposed to do?
I mean, the gap between the Premier League and the Championship grows year on year, and a fair, or at least a portion of that, Jono, is PSR, because when you make that jump from one to the other upwards, you have to strengthen your squad to compete in that league. You can't just carry on with more of the same from the Championship, because the gulf is growing, and PSR is creating this ceiling, which stops the likes of Leicester. Let's be honest, our owner's not hard up for a couple of quid. Our club is certainly not in financial trouble. We could have, if we were allowed to, invested in this window in January to try and give us a chance in the second half of the season to stay up. But we can't, because if we do that, we'll end up with a points deduction next season. So I feel like the authorities are worsening the situation. They're making the fortunes of the likes of Leeds, us, Burnley, and all these other teams that are kind of becoming, let's be honest, I don't like the phrase, but the truth is a bit yo-yo in terms of up and then down and up and then down. They're making it harder because you cannot break through that ceiling to compete. I'm not sure what the authority's strategy is with that, because it just seems that the smaller clubs who it was designed to protect are the ones that are actually suffering from it.
Well, like Sue said, Leeds could break the mould. They look quite good. It's a big jump. We were on course to break the points tally in the Championship. The only reason why we didn't is because Enzo was stubborn and didn't change the tactics, and that's what Chelsea fans are pissed about now, to be fair, but that's a different story. But we easily could have broken the points tally. We were by far the best team in that league by a mile, and we look at us now. We're getting absolutely screwed in the Premier League, and we are, Leicester City as a club, I think, is big enough to be in the Premier League. I don't think we're the stature of our club. We've won major trophy. We've won 2 major trophies in the last 10 years. You know what I mean? So no other club has done that outside the top 6. So we've got the stature of the club to be there, but we can't because, as you said, of PSR stopping us.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
And PSR stop anyone from doing Leicester again. Now, I don't agree with that because PSR was put in place before. I think PSR was put in. When was PSR introduced? I can't.
I think
it's been a while. I think it was before we won the Prem, but
the difference, Jono, between now and when it was first implemented is when it was first implemented. You remember that season that we got promoted the first time from the to the Premier League. We got
before, yeah,
we got a massive fine the season after when we were in the Premier League for breaching financial rules. But back then, the only penalty at the time was a financial penalty in terms of we're going to fine you 30 million quid because you've broke our rules. Now it's points deductions, and whilst I'm sure the authorities would argue, well, that makes clubs take it more seriously than they used to because they just used to pay the fine and see it as part of their business. That's true. The point I'm making here is that that's then say, for the likes of Top, who's looking at it thinking, well, actually, I'll put that money in, accept the fine to keep my club in the Premier League. He can't do that anymore because he's going to end up with a points deduction.
That's it, innit? That's it. And someone put, why didn't PSR obviously win the Premier League? I just think that season was just a phenomenon of players wanting to prove a point and just doing what they want to do. I think it was Claudia said, right, we're going to do it our way. Other players went, okay, and just got on with it. But nowadays, if anyone looks any half decent, and big club will go, I'll have them. I'll have them.
I mean, let's be honest, Forest have bucked the trend this season, Jono. They're punching way above their weight in terms of spend.
They did. And I guarantee you, in 2 seasons' time, they'll be where we are. Because what happened is, at end of this season, everyone will buy, Hudson-Odoi will go. All those sort of players will leave. And they won't be able to reinvest because the stature of their club isn't one of the top 6. And then they'll be either mid-table team or relegation zone.
And the only way to kind of break that cycle of doing well, overachieving, and losing your best players is to have a robust scouting system behind it. That's
which we did have. We did have that. It's gone. Well, let's talk about the game tomorrow. Now, I thought I was on me a little high horse. I thought Brentford were good at home and poor away, but Simon broke my bubble, burst my bubble, and said they've won 5 games. Won their last 5 away games.
Last three, mate, on the bounce. Yeah,
that's it. What are your thoughts going into tomorrow's game?
I want to be positive, John, and I want to believe we can get something from the game. That spell we played in the second half against Arsenal filled me with a little bit of hope that there's still some quality performance in our side. So I'm going to cling to that, and I'm going to go to the ground tomorrow with some hope that we're going to replicate that, and we're going to get something. But when you look at it in the cold light of day, and you take your Leicester City hat off and you put your neutrals hat on, that maybe other people might say that's not a rational thought process, but I'm going to stick with it because for me, if we don't start turning this tide immediately, then we're heading back where we came from.
Well, just to dampen people's spirits even more, going after the Brentford game, we've got West Ham away, Chelsea away, Manchester United at home, Man City away, Newcastle at home, Brighton away, Liverpool at home. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, which to me sound absolutely bloody terrifying.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's our easier games don't come from memory until towards the end of the season. We don't play
I've got after Liverpool, we've got Wolves, then Southampton, Forest, Ipswich, and Bournemouth. That's the last game of the season. Now, by then, we might pick up nine points. That's 2 months away. That's too late.
It's too late. Yeah, it's a shame that the fixtures aren't with the kind of more winnable games now, because at least we could get some points on the table and try and build some momentum. Listen, Brentford aren't infallible. Whilst their away form has massively improved in the last few weeks, their home form, from memory, has also gone a little bit south. So we're not coming up against a team that you would say it's beyond the bounds of possibility that we can't get 3 points from. We have to absolutely raise our level to its very best and believe in ourselves, and make the most of the opportunities we get tomorrow night.
Well, as we said earlier, we not taking our chances. I can't remember the last time we had a clear open cut chance that we took opportunity of scoring.
Yeah.
Well, that goal line clearance from, I think it was Lewis Skelly, or Wanyeri, if one of the two it was, but they made a ditch tackle to stop Reed from scoring, which is poor. But going into score predictions, what do you think the score will be?
Yeah, you can go down the head and heart route with this. I think we have to go out and win tomorrow. I don't think there's any two ways about it. Surely Van Nistelrooy's telling that squad that this is
it.
This is the moment where you have to turn the tide. I am absolutely hoping that they come out and just lay everything out on the pitch tomorrow night. And whilst obviously, given our record, we're not going to stop Brentford from scoring. I'll go for a 2-1 victory tomorrow night.
That's the exact score. I'm not going to do head and heart. I'm going 2-1. My head and heart say 2-1. If we play like we did for the first half an hour against Arsenal and take our chances, I reckon we will win this. But there's a horrible feeling in my head thinking if we don't take all our chances, then Brentford will take them. But it's going to be tough. And what do you think? What will be your lineup now?
Hermanson in goal, Jono. I think Coley's been a boost to the defence since he came back in. I'm still a bit puzzled as to why he ended up being dropped in the first place. But absolutely, a Coley for me has been has raised our defensive standards. So he goes in. Wout Faz for me as well. And I know some of the fans will say, "Well, why are you saying that?" Well, with what we've got right now, he's the best option for me to play alongside a Coley. I think for me, Kubiali plays right back. I think the way he played in the second half at the weekend absolutely deserves a start tomorrow night. For me, I think Christian Nielsen will play left back. In the middle, I'd stick with Ndidi and Samari. I think since Ndidi's come back into the team, that's also improved the quality. And we missed him, while he was out. I would then play Buonanotte down the right-hand side. I would play Cordova-Reid down the left. I'd play El Canouse then behind Jamie Vardy up front.
I think that is the lineup I'll go with. I've seen Ricardo being hinted by the media as, almost match fit. If he was match fit, would you start him?
Yes, but he's not ready. According to Van Nistelrooy, he said he's back in first team training, but he's going to be a couple of weeks before he gets himself ready for match action. So I think he's one for a couple of weeks' time, and we might need him by then with the games we've got coming up.
Well, yeah, like I remember a long time ago, about 3 or 4 seasons ago, he was one of the top wing backs in the league, and now look, it's just so sad. It's so sad. If we see Reed and Ayew starting, if Israel won't score, got to gamble. If the front four isn't El Canouse, Buonanotte, I think Reed and Vardy, I'll be scared.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Ayew put a shift in on the weekend. He always puts a shift in. He's a hard worker.
I'm not denying his work rate.
He's an honest player, Jono. He's just a little bit past his best in terms of age, and for me personally, I'd much rather see young and hungry on the pitch.
Buonanotte wants to point to prove. He wants to prove not to play for Leicester next season. He's not playing for that. He's playing to say, I want a big move or play first team in Brighton. Give him the opportunity. I don't care if he goes end of the season. I don't care about that. I want him to play well for us now and get us the points. And playing him will do that. I want to see Koulibaly. I want to see Okoli. I want to see the youngsters on the bench. I want to see the youngsters from the the Manchester United. Yeah, I want to see those two players in the lineup. So if we are losing, get them in, give them, show the starting 11 that it's not cushy. They can't just start every game. You've got to earn your spot. I'll go with that. But we always like to try and end on a good note, but it's just going to be hope for the best, really, isn't it? Really.
It's time to turn the corner, John Owen. We've got to start bucking this trend of defeat after defeat and get some points on the board and get ourselves in that mix, and put the pressure on Wolves. We're playing first. Let's get 3 points on the board and say, go on, then you go and win now, because we're out of the bottom three and you're in there. We need to start asserting that pressure and believing in ourselves that we can do it.
And if you look at Wolves have got Bournemouth away. That's if we win our game against Brentford, Wolves are going to go in that game thinking crap. So this is our chance to push off like after the relegation zone, going into the weeks after fixtures. But no, we'll end the show there. Thank you so much for joining me, Simon. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to see you, Jono.
I don't know if we've got a show tomorrow, a watch along, but we are back on Sunday for the aftermath show, and we've got Phil's show on Monday. So thank you all very much for watching, and we shall see you soon.